What a time to be alive, Dano. Episode 32 of the Pinnacle Combat Sports Podcast. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. We got baseball playoffs going on. Monday Night
Good time of year.
Football. Great,
I like this time of year.
Great card of fights on Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's a constant. So that's great. That's thank God for it. But
Yeah. I just cracked a Coors Latte.
oh shit, dude, what is that? What kind of thing is that?
It's a dessert beer.
Ooh,
I like to think of it as a dessert beer.
it's like an anytime beer.
Yeah, it's just good for you.
Speaking of anytime, Jim, anytime touchdown. I hit on one.
I know you won big this past
Yeah.
weekend. $150.
Big. 150 grand. Yeah, you said that. Yeah, you said it right. Yep, 150 grand. That was good. Those are the ones we have to do in Vegas, dude. Especially if we're watching.
Dude, you got to do
Like
it.
obviously, we'll do fights.
I can't hit a bet to save my life. Apparently,
That's why October's been the month of practice, dude. And we get there, Jim, and then we're just gonna hit the. We're not gonna leave. I forgot to tell you, I refunded the hotel stay. We're just gonna stay at DraftKings
okay.
Sports just the whole time, just cranking out bets.
All right, as long as I win,
If we
that's
hit-
fine.
And if we hit, we have a place to stay. If not, we're just kind of walk around.
Yeah,
We don't have anywhere to go.
I like
so-
it. It's warm enough there. We don't have to
It's
worry
a
about
gamble.
weather.
It's a gamble, but it'll be fun.
Anyways, we got a lot to talk about today, so let's get into it so we can get to some, football and baseball in a little bit. But let's start out with some boxing. Bitterbiev broke Dmitry Bivol's unbeaten streak over the weekend. Became the undisputed light heavyweight champion. I didn't. Again, we do this a lot about boxing, but I didn't happen to watch the fight. I'm pretty sure you just said you didn't either.
Nope.
But it looked like, from the scorecards, it looked like it was a really close fight, and a lot of people thought Bivol was robbed.
Okay.
But then again, those could be Bivol fans that thought he was robbed. Because if you look at the picture after the fact, it looked like Bivol was a little bit more beat up than Bitterbiev. But again, I didn't watch the fight. Obviously, two great boxers. I'm sure the fight was really good. Actually, I should probably try to find some kind of rerun of it to watch it because
It was ESPN Plus. You can just watch it on there.
oh, it was
It was
free.
just a replay of it.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
it was
Oh, yeah.
free.
Yep.
You were telling me it was free. Shit, I didn't know it was free.
I just didn't get around to watching it yet because it was live when the UFC fights were on. So I just obviously wasn't going to do it then. And then I just forgot to rewatch it. But I will.
Okay,
I want to see how it went down.
We'll have to
But
watch
yeah,
it.
it's on
and
ESPN
then-
Plus.
And then next week we'll maybe talk a little bit more about it, if that works.
Yeah, because they're both great. But that dude better be. What's cool about him was that he was a 20-0 with, I think it was 20 knockouts.
20 knockouts. So this is his only fight without a knockout.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy, dude.
And he's
Wow.
not young. He's an older guy, I believe. So he doesn't have much time left. So I just want to see him get whoever is in that division, the big names. Just give him whatever you can before he's out. But I'm pretty sure he's late 30s. That
So,
dude for sure.
How long has he been boxing for if he only has 21 fights? you
See, I
know?
don't know. You never know with some of these guys. They have you'll find out they have a couple hundred amateur fights, and they've just been sharpening their craft the whole time. And then you're like, oh, they're 13-0. It's kind of like Lomachenko,
Yeah.
Like you look at his record and you're like, oh, he's only had this many. Maybe it was like a dozen professional bouts, but then you find out he had 400 amateur boxing matches. You're like, oh, okay, that does it. That's probably enough, right?
Huh.
400?
Yeah. No, sorry. I'm just looking up his Wikipedia.
I'm curious what it is. It might not be. I'm sure it's not as vast as 400, but it could be quite a bit.
His first professional debut was in 2013.
Okay.
So there's that. So it's only been 10 or 11 years or so. So yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. What's that, like 2 fights a year?
I suppose. Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah.
It's weird to not be a huge name. Back
yeah,
in the
he's-
earlier days, you figure it wouldn't be like between 6 months in between fights, but
And he's 39. So yeah, he
Yeah, I
must
knew he
have
wasn't young.
started. He started when he was 28. So that's
Just
yeah.
late. Just wonder what he's doing before then. I
Well,
have to look
before
it
then,
up.
I think he did a lot of amateur. Like he did down here it says European Championships. He won gold in 2006 and gold in 2010, and then
Okay,
he
okay.
won World Championships in 2009, silver in 2007. So
Oh, that makes sense. He's been busy. Yeah, he did quite a bit in his life. You're like, oh, he's only had 20 fights. You're like, oh, but he's just been winning medals.
oh, and it says
But
here Beterbiev had more than 300 amateur fights.
there you go. There you go. Yep.
So
It
so that
seems like
just must be big in Europe.
I believe so.
Okay.
Um, it's probably a crazy circuit there. Jesus.
That's interesting. Yeah, if you're not in a rush to go pro, it must be the talent pool must be pretty big, right?
I would imagine it's especially in something like boxing. Boxing's been around so long.
Yeah, it's probably a
Um,
lot more popular in Europe too. I mean, compared to here. I mean, not that boxing isn't like a sport that a lot of people get into here, but it's not as widely followed. I guess it's getting better now and bigger, like it was in the '90s. But I don't know. What do you? I don't. I
I
mean,
would,
I wouldn't know. I've never been to Europe, so I don't know how they what they think of boxing there. But they usually turn out for all the European fights, like Tyson Fury, and didn't they like
sure.
fill up Wembley a couple
Yeah.
times? Yeah,
Oh yeah. I would say just like far Eastern Bloc too. Like just it seems like that's
yeah,
the ones you always find out have that many amateur fights. Just that's just the thing that forever. It's just been a thing.
yeah.
Like wrestling and boxing.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that Russian guy that you have to if you're a fighter, it seems like.
Yeah, what was
Um,
his name that Rocky fought in Rocky Four?
oh yeah, Drago. Yeah,
Ivan Drago.
that was Dolph Lundgren. What a
He's in
what a
commercials
film.
now. You see those commercials he's doing now?
Kicking glasses and
Yeah, he's
shit. Yeah,
kicking
I've seen him.
glasses. Yeah, it's like is it insurance or what is that? I don't even know.
I don't know. Whatever pays, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
right.
yeah, I'll kick a glass. What is it? What is this for? Doesn't matter. Tell me the line.
Just write the check. I'll do it.
I'll just be difficult on set. But you guys don't have a charcuterie board for me?
I'll
Why
just
not?
be difficult on set. That's
Yeah,
funny. I only like red M&Ms. How dare you?
pluck them out. Pluck them out. Um,
Let's
yeah,
get
no, I'll
in.
definitely watch that.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I can't tonight, but one of these days when I have some time, I will. Let's get into the fights, man. Let's just I mean, right off the bat, we always start with the main event to pull the two listeners we have into the conversation. Brandon Royval and Tatsuro Taira. What did you think?
Oh, it was a great fight.
Dude, one of the
Awesome
best
fight.
fights I've seen in a long, long time.
Yep, it's up there. It's definitely up there. Um, like you said, it was great for Royval. I, maybe including myself, obviously. I think there's a lot of people that are probably looking at this fight being the the jump off point for Taira for a title shot, and then Royval just took it back at the not so fast. I'm still just because I lost to the champion doesn't mean it was that was definitely a decision.
Yeah.
I'd have to watch that and see how that one went down because Pantoja's just so good. I know they've catapulted that. We'll get into it after, but it's relevant. But what Pantoja they catapulted that other, I believe, Japanese star, right? The one
Yeah.
that was
I
a
could look that up.
he had a belt somewhere else. Like is it Asakura or you'll grab it. But that dude, I haven't seen him fight. I have to watch some of his fights. I've heard that dude's
Yeah.
incredible.
Kai Asakura.
Sakura, yeah, great name, great name. See,
Asukora.
Jesus, sounds like a durable sneaker. Like
Oh yeah. That's good.
oh yeah, that was funny.
A
That was a
durable
funny reaction
sneaker.
to it. But yeah, so he's kind of jumped like leapfrogging. Royval's right there now. He's pretty much taken everything that you figured Tyra might have been
Yeah.
getting
Yeah, for
coming
sure.
up now. That's kind of what seemed like that was being foreshadowed, and included both of us, I believe. Not that we don't like Brandon Royval at all. He's he's fought and beaten some of the best in the division. It was just more, I guess, new blood. I get excited for new blood. I'm sure you're probably similar to that too.
Yeah.
New guys in the division, you kind of get excited. You want to see that particular fighter fight other guys that you see as the main names of the division, which you
Especially
saw.
especially flyweight, just because it's never been a very deep division talent wise.
No, no,
So yeah, I like to see new blood come in and make a name for themselves. That's why I was excited about Urseg when he had that fight. Because it was just like this new guy that we didn't know about that came in and did really well. So yeah. um, but Brandon Royval, man, he impressed the shit out of me the other night.
he really did. He's had a lot of, like I said. Let's see it record real quick. I know he's fought all the names in the division. Um, okay, so it was a split unanimous decision loss to Pantoja. He had split decision wins. Taira we just watched, and Brandon Moreno before that. And he also has a knockout over Nicolau, who's really good.
Yep.
Submission over Snell, who's really good. It's a lot of the big names. Yeah, you figured he's right there, man. You figure he's next.
He has a submission
I don't
over
see
Cara France. He's beat. Well,
that's a big one too.
he fought Pantoja and Moreno twice. Yeah.
That's what I do like about flyweights, right? Because they always seems like they're always fighting three and four times each, and I do like if you have good matchups like that. Why wouldn't you want to see it three times?
Yeah.
Like in a span where it might be the best 3 year period of each fighter's careers. Like, and they're in their prime, so why not just run it in the next 2 or 3 years? As opposed to there's nothing worse than having a fight here, even maybe two within a couple of years, and then they have a rematch like 6, 7 years down the line, and it's just a shell of what it was. Like, we don't want to. Who wanted to see this? No one wanted to see this.
Yeah.
It's like it's good to see it when they're at their best, at the highest level, and that's what you see a lot with flyweight. That's what I do like, as opposed to other divisions might have to wait for these rematches in trilogies and things of that nature a lot.
Yeah.
I've had, yeah. But great win for Royval, man. Am I
Yeah,
saying his
dude.
name right?
Like,
Royval,
I think
Royval,
so.
Royval.
Royval. The thing I think with Taira, he's really, really good on the ground, and given how he's just very, he's got a weird style too. And I think Royval was really good at creating chaos and getting out of things and being defensively sound. And then when they got to their feet, Taira had no answer for his boxing, and his jab looked great, and he was connecting with everything. And I think Taira just needs to spend some more time on his feet and practice and all that. And not that he's bad. Clearly, he got as far as he did, number 5 in the division, with the skills that he has already. But it's when you get to guys like Pantoja and obviously Royval, what he did over the weekend, like it's just these guys are so well rounded. You really have to hone in on some of those skills, even though it might be uncomfortable for you. And I think maybe Taira figured that out this weekend. But we'll see. I can't wait to see who he fights next because I really do like his style, and he's very like he does this weird, like when he's got the dude's back, when he had Royval's back in the body triangle, he would twist him. Did you see when he was doing that?
Yeah, I think that might have actually been one of his previous fights. He actually hurt someone doing that. Not
Yeah.
intentional, but just in the awkwardness of it.
Yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's weird. You don't. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone be able to manipulate someone like that on the ground that way before. Maybe they've never tried, but I just never seen that in that way. I don't think.
And it must make it way harder for them to get out of that position because it
Yeah,
seems like Tyra just has so much more control over your body when he has you like that. Because I don't know, I don't know, it's just a wild technique. that only he's using, which is interesting.
Yeah, no, it really is. And to get back to Royval because he did win. That you were right. That jab was crispy.
Yeah,
It was so good. It was money, and that's really what it was. And you figure a guy like Taira, if he's gonna have any success in the division, as good as he is already, if he's gonna have any success, he's gonna have to make adjustments and deal with that because you figure you just fought Royval. He's fought like Brandon Moreno's no different. That dude's boxing so good.
yeah,
And you even have like Pantoja the champ. Like everyone in this division has very similar of their strengths in the basic, or really in the basics. That's what's so good about the smaller weight classes. We always talk about it, but it's true. A lot of people they'll watch flyweight and they don't really see it for what it is. It's just so technical, a lot of it,
yeah,
because you figure, oh, of course they have to be technical because they never had like most of them have never had that kind of power that they can always lean on. So they've always had to have something else. They don't have physical attributes, so they always have to, you have to learn on a more of a technique basis, and that's what they do.
yeah. You
And
have
you
to
see
make
it
up for that. Yeah,
exactly. Like that's why Mighty Mouse is one of the best because he's so small in terms of all the weight classes. You take all the weight classes in MMA. He's such a small weight, and you watch all the things he can do. It's just he's one of the most. He'll always probably be one of the most impressive ones you point out as far as like a skill set total, like all things considered.
absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
he's probably the most underrated fighter of all time.
yeah,
And
yeah.
all
If
it
you
has
if
to
you
do
know, you
with
know.
is it's just because of the flyweight division. If he was in any other division, he would have been a superstar, a megastar.
Yeah,
So
yeah. He was one of those names it'll be one of those ones you always remember. It's kind of like BJ Penn too. I know he's had his things, but when that dude was on at his best, there are a few fighters that you take. I'm talking like at 155, the weight class he probably should have always been at.
yeah,
Dude, when he was on, Jesus Christ. Um, Now it's like another name because he's had all the God-given like attributes. That's probably what makes it tough for a lot of these guys when it becomes so easy. Like working hard and putting in a ton of hard work is not as necessary for guys that just things just come easy to them.
mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what he was. But you and me don't. We like the guy. We always root for the guys that don't quite have that and kind of made something out of like not like I wouldn't even say he's not someone who has like uh, any God-given shit, but like Dustin Poirier is a name that comes to mind.
Yeah,
Talk about someone who's like just earned everything through his career, like the hard way. There was no easy route. And there's a lot of fighters like that, but that's a name that comes to mind.
and I think he purposefully took the difficult route, which actually makes him more of a
Admirable,
yeah
more of a
admirable. Yeah,
warrior. Yeah,
exactly.
but he's a
Because you do see some of these guys, especially the newer guys, you know that they only take the hard fights when they absolutely have to. If they have a
yep,
choice, they're going to take an easier. They're going to pick the easier of the, let's say two or three competitors that they could face. They're going to, they're going to try to take the easiest road possible to the top to make the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. And I don't blame them for that. It's just
not at all.
if that opportunity is there and you can take it, then I guess go for it, right? Keep your name on top for as long as possible. Make that money. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm still nostalgic about like the early UFC, um, where everyone just wanted to fight the baddest guy on the planet. Everyone
Yeah,
wanted to be that guy, and in order to be that guy, you got to beat the guy. So they just fought the craziest people. So,
no, it's true.
and I
No,
think
it's
you
true.
need a little bit of both of that. And I think Dustin's a good version of both of those things.
Yes, agreed. But major props to Brandon Royval. That was a great win.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Puts him right back in the mix, and It's no shame,
To me
nothing.
that was his for me that was his most impressive performance to date for
I,
me.
I couldn't. I probably wouldn't be able to argue that just because of like the nature of everything.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely up there. I mean, he'd probably tell you that himself. He just
Yeah.
seems like a cool dude too, just like a guy you'd root for. Um, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing what's next with that because I'm big on Pantoja, especially the last handful of fights, man. Not just because he's champ, just the way he deals with people. Um, I don't know, I don't know if that's like sustainable, especially with all like eventually kind of like the loosening of a pickle jar type deal. He's fighting all these guys over and over and beating them. Um, at what point does someone kind of take the throne, you know? And I
Oh,
know it's just started
yeah.
for him, but it's hard to maintain this pace he's at. Maybe he will, but sorry, what were we gonna say?
I was just gonna ask, what are the chances you think he moves up, or is he too small? You think to move up, maybe go for a
I don't
double
think he's
title?
I don't think he's too small. I just don't think it's the right time for that. Um, but you never know. I'm trying to think of what would be the I don't know. I guess if you're Pantoja, you're probably thinking it's a good opportunity to get two belts against a guy like Marab because you know where Marab wants to take it to. He wants to take you to the ground, and Pantoja's just so good on the ground. Um,
Yeah, but I think
you
Marab's a
figure
lot
that
bigger than he is.
that's another one. So that's another thing. It, that that 10 pounds means a lot because you don't know which way they're going. Uh, yeah, they might weigh that weight each, but if one's only putting on 10 more and one's already has something in place where they put on like say 20,
Yeah.
uh, it's just such a difference. Uh, so yeah, I don't recommend it, but I don't recommend move, uh, most people going up in weight. I think a lot of people go up in weight that shouldn't. Um, but we'll see how that one goes. But I
Yeah.
kind of like Pantoja where he's at. There's so many names, especially he's got the new blood we thought he was going to get, which maybe got sent, not to the back of the line, maybe to the mid. He's got to
Yeah.
wait a few
Yeah.
more fights now. Not ready now, but you just now he has a new opponent he's got thrown to him, which is another really tough fight. A lot of unknowns. I bet you Pantoja doesn't really know of him a ton.
Mm-hmm.
You might have heard of him, but you're not really paying attention that much. Um, so it'd be interesting. Kind of curious to see how that goes. I have to watch some of that dude's fights too because I haven't seen anything.
Yeah. Neither have I. Well, I guess we'll see what happens with flyweight now. That I mean, what a great fight, and that's a perfect. I thought that was a perfect fight night main event too. You know, there was a lot on the line. Two great fighters in a division that a lot of people might not pay attention to as much, and they fucking showed up and they did an awesome job, and it was a great fight. Fight of the night, probably one of the fights of the year. It was amazing.
For sure. And now that would be my argument for 5 round fights, man. Like across the board, when it comes to like higher profile as far as like the rankings and the implications,
Yeah,
I, I that's why I like 5 round main events. That's imagine if that was a you'd be pumped if that was on a pay-per-view coming up. You're like, oh, it's gonna be a great fight. And then that third round ends and you're like, both had more to give. It was
yeah,
just getting going and it's over. I think there's a lot of fights like that. Because I think these guys are so good now. I think that might be the new. I wish it'd be like the new norm. Why not just have them all be 5 round fights? You're gonna find out who's ready and who's not.
yeah. Maybe just
Because
the
if you're not
main,
ready in the fourth,
maybe just the main card, all 5 round fights.
I like that. Yeah, something different would be cool. It probably never happened, but that would be something that I think would be good because you're not gonna have a lot of decisions. You're gonna have probably less decisions because I think a lot of people, the people that are ready for it, it's gonna show
Yeah,
early and often. As soon as there's certain fighters that you see them. I know that's always been something. I wonder if it's true. Or I've always felt like that was one of the things you hated the most. I know there's a lot of variables why fighters get gassed, but I know that's always been something you've hated when you see fighters get gassed. Like you hate seeing that.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I know it's always been something that you're uh, not to say anyone is, but I know when it happens, you're like, oh my, really? So
Yeah.
I get, you know what I mean? You want to be a professional athlete, you should, very few times should that be happening.
Yeah, that's the first thing you should be working on, if nothing else.
So it's what you can control,
you can
you know?
only learn new techniques over time. Like there's not many people out there, I'm sure, that can learn a brand new technique in terms of fighting like overnight or in even in like a month or two. That shit just takes I'm sure a brand new fighting technique takes time, like way more time to like get good at something, but you could always be working on your cardio. Every day
Yep.
you can work on that. In a 3 month camp, you can you can fix that problem. you know.
You
So
weaponize it, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
and if you're a guy like, I'm thinking like Kobe Covington, and yeah, you could weaponize it. And there are fighters out there who will just put a pace on you. I know Kobe's not a great example now, but at his peak, that's what he would do.
Oh, he definitely was then, for sure. Yeah.
Um, and there's been many guys like that. Even Marab's one of them. He never gets tired. He's always on your ass, walking forward.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ton of guys like that. But yeah, that does drive me nuts because you're getting paid pretty good money to show up for, you know, at the most 25 minutes,
Oh,
and especially when it happens like I get like maybe the fourth or fifth round. Maybe you're not used to 5 round fights or something like that. But if you get gassed in like the beginning of the second, I don't know, you know.
there's a lot there. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen, but
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And
I've
I
never
shouldn't talk
understood that
because,
either.
dude, I'd gas in the first half of the first round, so I'm I'm not one to talk.
Of course you would, because that's not what you do. But
yeah,
you're also not, Coors Light lattes are in the mix. They're great. So
yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of differences, but it's also, I, I don't like when I see, like, to a certain point, like certain guys get away with certain things, but I hate when I see them not take it serious, like they're not a professional athlete. Because I
yeah, for
just,
sure.
you always hate, like, it's a certain thing. Like Rogan always points that out, which is always true. Like when you like all these sports that include like a ball, like, yeah, the dude's trying to score on you, but it's just it's so different when you're fighting. So like that guy could be doing everything right, and you're not doing hardly any of it right. You got to be taking it serious, because it's like, it's your health out there
Yeah, for sure.
that you're fighting for. So that's the only reason why you hate seeing that.
Yeah. Well, Brandon Royval and Taira did not gas, by the way. So
Not at all.
not at all, and it was an awesome fight. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. But let's get on to the next one. Brad Tavares and Yoon Young Park. What did you think of that one?
The Iron Turtle, dude.
The Iron Turtle. Yep.
Fuck yeah, that's a great nickname. Uh,
My
it was
mind just goes to
honestly,
Super Mario when you say that.
like, I don't honestly, it's not a bad, good or bad. It's not anything. I'm not making a statement, but I just don't remember this fight that well. I don't know why.
yeah,
I do remember him winning. I just don't remember. I don't remember anything being. I just don't remember the fight well, to be honest. Do you know? Do you
yeah. No,
remember this fight better than me?
not no. I think the reason is because I remember specific things from the main event, and I remember specific things from the fight before it. Um,
Yep.
but I thought, from what I remember, I'm surprised now looking that it was split because I think Park. I don't remember which round Brad Tavares won in my mind. I thought Park had him pretty much the whole fight from what I remember, but I don't. Again, I'd have to watch it again. But
Same. Yeah. Same. That's why I was kind of surprised to see that as well. Because at least you could see why Royval Taira was maybe split.
yeah,
At least you can kind of see it, but um, I didn't really see it in the same way in that fight.
yeah, I thought Park had it pretty much in the bag from an early on in the fight. And this puts Brad Tavares in a weird spot because he's won one fight out of his last five. And
Okay.
I like Brad Tavares,
Oh yeah.
but I mean, he's been in the game for a long time as well. So I mean, how many more does he have left in him? And if he can't get past these, I don't even know what is he ranked.
No, he's I don't think so. He was coming off a loss himself, but he's had a good run before then. So he's
Yeah,
probably right around the cusp of the top 15, I would think.
yeah. So yeah, he's fought like some who's who. Like he
Hmm.
fought Adesanya. He lost to Adesanya. He fought Duplessis. He fought Silva. He lost to Silva. He beat Weidman. He lost to RoboCop, and then he lost to Park. So he's fought
Yeah, it's
some
been a
really
tough
tough
run.
guys.
Oh,
Um,
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, again, I like the guy. I just, at some point, I don't know what's going on in his personal life or at his gym or whatever, but at some point, you kind of have to be honest with yourself and see, ask yourself some difficult questions and either completely change things up, whatever that might mean for you and your team and your family or whatever, or just, I don't know.
Like decide to close the chapter. Just like have like keep your health, man.
Yeah, I don't
Could have
I
a
don't like
couple.
to I don't like to say that because I don't want to see any of these guys not fight, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's hard. It's hard to like. Who are we to say that? Like that feeling of winning must be like nothing else. So
Yeah, I'm sure it's like a drug.
yeah, I can only imagine. So I can't say much on it. Just like you said, it's more it's coming from a place of just caring about the person. Figure it's like what is it really gonna do? Having a few more fights. You've already fought the best you're gonna fight as far as like the names. The names are incredible. You fought over the career, whether you won or lost. Just the fact that you fought these guys. And he's had plenty of wins, um, plenty of good times earlier in his career. But he was, like you said, he was fighting all these, like you're fighting all these surging names like Adesanya and Duplessis. You're gonna take some losses. That's the nature of the beast. That's what makes MMA great. You don't have all these undefeated guys fighting each other, um, built up, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I like that. I'd rather that. I'd rather see the guy be like, oh, he's 18-5. All right, so he's taking a couple of losses. Like I like seeing stuff like that.
Mhm.
Especially at this level with this talent, Jim. These guys, come on.
And he's 36. So I mean,
Yeah,
technically, if he wanted to completely change things up and go to a different gym or whatever, I mean, he could potentially he can probably do one more run, but I mean, you know, you, I don't know. I think at this point, at 36 years old, you kind of have to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go for it one more time, but if I lose, I'm done. I just got to be done and just make that decision beforehand and stick to it. And yeah, I don't know.
or there's other avenues.
Yeah, there's other
There's other
places to
things.
go. Yeah, there's other goals out
I,
there. Yeah,
but even in still in a combat sports realm, like I think there's some things that might be interesting for guys that are their UFC career might be something that might be towards the obviously the towards the tail end. But you could jump into something like I think about Wonder Boy. I'm like, oh, that I really like to see that dude take a couple of those karate combat fights.
yeah,
Those karate combat fights. He'd be so good at that because
yeah.
the way
That's
he keeps
perfect.
people that front leg, the way he keeps people off with that front leg, people aren't going to be able to pin him anywhere because they can't use grappling to do it. So as much, it's a different kind of thing. I just imagine him being able to use footwork and people, and that front leg would just be a nightmare.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
but
and I
it'd
mean,
be cool.
in terms of making money too. I mean, right now might be the best time in combat sports to make some money. So go,
Yeah,
do a couple fight. I mean, there's bare knuckle out there. They're making good money. Um,
he'd be a nightmare. Jesus.
Yeah, right. I
Imagine having a
know.
bare knuckle Brad Tavares. Yeah, no thanks.
Jeez. All right, but we got tons more to talk about. Let's get on to the next one. Ninja Kuwani and Jared Gooden. This was an awesome. I mean, I don't know who you had winning this, but I like Ninja Kuwani. I hope I'm saying that right.
Andrew Kawani, yeah,
Ninja
he
Kuwani.
landed so many more strikes that it was hard not to pick him
Yeah, I
to win
mean,
that fight. Control was a lot, but
yeah, Gooden had no answer for the clinch. Clearly, he just held him in the clinch for like 3 minutes around, and he couldn't
he
do
wouldn't
anything about it.
he wouldn't shake his hand at the weigh-in. Do you know if there's anything behind that, or if it's just like just kind of a dumb thing?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if
Okay,
there's any background to that.
I instantly root for the guy that wouldn't, you know,
Yeah.
like the
Did
guy
they
that was
Jared
trying to shake hands.
Gooden? Maybe they were they at the same gym at some point or something?
I don't know. I really don't know. That's why I was curious if there's anything that you heard because it was just
Fighting
weird. Like,
Gooden's out of Georgia.
it was kind of weird.
Doesn't say any specific gyms. So yeah, I don't know. He
Probably
fought in
not
the
then.
LFA. Yeah, probably not. I don't know. I don't know what that was all about. But yeah, that
But it
is
was
weird. Yeah, I don't like when
good.
people do that. They're just trying to make something out of nothing, and it doesn't
Yeah, it's
matter.
weird.
Like I like some of the shit talk and everything, especially when it's when it's granted or whatever, when it makes sense because it does hype up the fight. But when people do it just to be controversial and to like get more eyes and views on your fight, like hey, it doesn't really matter because in the end, Saturday night we're gonna find out who's a badder man, you know.
Yeah.
So, but also
Plus, you got to
like
carry all that. You got to carry all
yeah,
that the whole time. You got to show up with that,
mm-hmm.
all that shit you said. So,
But you know what's funny? Sometimes I find myself. I don't know if you find this with you, but like when you get like the guys like Whitaker, super nice guy, and basically that's what he says at the press conferences. He goes, "Well, we're gonna find out on Saturday night." Like sometimes I find myself going, "Fuck, I wish he would just be more of an asshole." Sometimes, you know, like do you ever find yourself saying that to yourself?
I kind of like that though. It's even kind of like the timing of it's good with Taporia and Holloway. Holloway, it's been heated with
Yeah.
them. I don't know if you saw the interview
Oh
it
yeah.
was pretty heated with that, but
See,
I kind
like
of like the way
yeah,
Holloway's playing it. You
yeah,
know,
I like that
kind
though,
of just
but they're like doing it a little bit, you know, like they're saying a couple things here or there.
that's true. Yeah,
You know, I like a little bit of that. I don't like I not saying I don't like it, but when someone's just, "Hey, we'll find out on Saturday." I'm like, "You could have said something. You could have jabbed him a little bit. You don't have to be a complete ass, but like you could I don't know, let's have fun a little bit, you know? I don't know."
just it's just one of those ones, man. Like I know Topuria's he's so good. You could see it. It's all there. He's no fluke. But you better be careful what you wish for talking like that to Holloway, because you just feel like Holloway's just putting all this shit in his pocket, like remembering all the things that you said, because that's all well and good, dude. But if you're entering the fourth round and you're not, it's not going well, and you have two more rounds with Holloway, you're gonna learn that shit the hard way, dude. So that's what I've kind of looked at. I'm like, all right, like you better be able to stop him, because there has been no fighter that's been able to even knock him down,
Yeah.
let alone really deal with him. Um, Obviously he's taken losses, but you feel like there might have been more circumstantial shit going on around this. And it's not always the fight. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things that could happen.
And
You don't know that he's going in injured.
yeah.
A lot of times they are. You just don't know.
But
But
speaking of that, Max Holloway might be on the biggest wave of momentum he's ever been on.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you're fighting the best of the best, Max Holloway, coming 2 weeks. So
Because yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because you could see a lot of the stuff he was kind of just not really reacting to, kind of laughing it off. But there's some stuff that you could see it got to him. He kind of got a little testy, but for the most part, I think he played it perfect. He just kind of like, just like I like the way he was playing that whole fan thing. He's like, yeah, you know a lot about me, dude. Stop acting like you're not a fan of me. Like I've been around, and like Taporia was cool about that. Like he didn't play the whole stupid card. Like, no, you suck. He's like, no, I've been a fan of you for a while. It's not like he was. I think there's a lot of respect there, but he's kind of curious how far Taporia is going to take it. If he's not getting much of a reaction, he might try to push it to a level that he's not doesn't want to really per se,
Yeah.
but he might just be trying to get an edge, and it could be a costly one, dude, because you're not getting much from Holloway. He's really not giving you much. He's been around too long
Yeah.
to react too much. But I'm sorry, we're getting too much into that. That
Yeah.
fight, you can tell that one excitement.
Well,
Once
that's
you
why
said
we're
Whitaker, I started thinking about that card.
yeah, well we're
Sorry.
flying to Vegas because that
Yeah.
card's going to be amazing, and we'll definitely be talking about that a lot in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, Ninja Kawani did a great job. He controlled the fight. He literally, I mean, well, when you have a skill like the clinch that the other guy can't handle, utilize it, make the best of it, and finish the fight. Well, he didn't finish the fight, but it was a pretty one-sided fight, and I think he went in as the underdog, if I'm not mistaken, which I was surprised about when
He may have
the
been.
fight
Yeah.
opened up. But yeah, I like that guy a lot. I don't know where that puts him, but I'm curious to see where that what they have next for him. Because I remember watching one of his last fights. Which one did I watch? Actually, I think I watched his last two fights against McKee and I'm not going to be able to pronounce that.
Was it Durov? Durov?
Oliskevich or something.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. Do you talking about that? Was that
Yeah,
Olashashek or something like that?
yeah, something like that.
It's tough.
But
At
yeah,
least you can't.
and
You know,
he
it's not
actually had
Johnson, Jim. It's a tough
it's not
name, so
Johnson.
they'll
Yeah,
cut you some slack. They'll see it and they'll go, yeah, that looks like a tough name. There's a
yeah,
J there for some reason.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, he was coming off three straight losses, and he's starting to make a resurgence. So I don't know. I always kind of liked him. I think he's a perfect build too in terms of like his length and everything. So I don't know. I like him. He also looks like the guy from what's that show? This Is
Oh
Us.
no.
This Is Us.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who that is. I have to look it up.
Let me find the guys. You should look him up right now because he looks just like him.
Oh, that's funny.
Cast. He looks like Sterling K. Brown. Look him up.
What's the middle one? Sterling what?
Sterling K. Brown.
K. Sterling K. All right. Go. As you may as well get into the next, what, Grant Dawson?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, Grant
Sterling K.
Dawson. On to the next one. Grant Dawson, dude, talk about wrestling. This dude, or Garcia just didn't, he couldn't stop him from taking him down. And he just controlled the fight until he ended it in the second round. It was a good fight. It
Yeah,
was
that was
very one sided.
he showed why he was the favorite. I thought it was gonna be a tougher fight because I know that dude Rafa Garcia is really good. He's just a tough fight. So he made it look easy um, against a tough opponent. So yeah, Grant Dawson looked really good. That's one of the bigger. I would say that's one of the bigger ones to point out about the card overall. Seeing how good he looked because he could be a big name in lightweight. Because he has that wrestling pedigree. He could be a tough fight for
Yeah.
all these guys.
And his
If
only
he keeps getting better
losses,
everywhere else.
yeah, his only loss is to King Green. So every other fight, I think he's won.
Yeah, I think he probably sharpened up a lot of, especially striking defense skills since then. Not to say they were bad before, but it's like that. If you're going to pick a weakness, it's not going to be his wrestling. So there's other things of his game that needs to, he can definitely improve on, and he'll tell you still probably the same. Plus, he cut a great post fight promo. The
Oh
man's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
The man's awesome. You know, how can you not root for that? It's great.
exactly. Yep,
Just
that's funny.
embarrassing his wife right in front of everyone. It's great. Right in front of the whole Vanderbilt squad, you know?
She handled it
You see
well.
that team? Oh yeah, she seemed great. Uh she didn't seem like she was mad at all. She seemed like she was like, kind of embarrassing me a
You
bit,
got
but
me.
yeah, you got me, you son of a bitch. But as far as do you see that whole what I forgot what team that was. It was like a whole Vanderbilt team that's pretty rowdy out there. You saw them in the crowd, Jim?
Oh
The
yeah, yeah,
fights?
yep.
Little Vandy crowd. I forgot what team they said.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That's cool. Maybe rugby. They seem like a couple of wild,
Oh,
seemed like they were enjoying their fights.
this is what I was gonna tell you before we hit record. I watched the fights at the bar on my phone with no sound, and I actually like it better. I
It's
think I'm
good.
gonna
Yeah,
start watching with no commentary, no sound at all for at least at least for the fight nights. Um,
I like that idea.
because then you like I can score it way better. I can tell which way I don't know, I can tell the momentum better. Um, I'm not distracted by other things. Yeah, I don't know. I just had it on at the bar watching with no sound, and I liked it a lot. So yeah, I don't
I
know what
noticed.
team was in the crowd. Maybe because I wasn't listening to commentary or whatever. So I don't know.
Mhm. I noticed that. I noticed that a lot when I would watch movies early in the mornings a lot because I'd use subtitles, so I feel like I was more locked in, paying attention to it. And then same thing with the fights. Whenever the UFC would do like Singapore or China, where the first fights are like 6 a.m., I'd always wake up and watch them with coffee.
Yeah,
And like you're watching it, it sounds not that loud because you can't be loud early. And I agree. You're kind of more locked in, I feel.
yeah,
So that might be something to do. Maybe I'll start to do that.
yeah. I'm gonna start doing. Well, obviously not the pay per views. If we're paying for it, I'm listening and
Be a little
watching,
wild.
and we'll get
You
rowdy.
can have some lattes too. So,
Yeah,
but hey, no, I definitely know what you mean. And it definitely does something, especially for the fight nights. I do like that because especially when I like to score them. I'll score them on that verdict app a lot.
oh
Shout
yeah,
out to
for
that
sure.
verdict. That verdict app's awesome. I love it.
I always forget
Um,
about it. I'm so
I love
stupid.
it, dude. You gotta get into it. Just that way it becomes part of the routine.
Yeah,
It's awesome. It really is. Whoever runs it does a great job. I enjoy it. But plus you score every round up to date, round by round, like at live as it happens. It's kind of nice. I like doing that.
yeah.
Um, Sometimes hit the wrong button, and then I'm like, fuck, because the only thing I would suggest Verdict does is have an edit one. Sometimes I've hit the wrong button. I'm like, oh, they didn't win the round. Fuck, and then it kind of ruins it.
Yeah,
But
I did that
because
once
you
or
can't
twice.
go back, you
Yep.
can't go back, and you're like, oh, but it ruins the whole card for me. Like the scorecard now, I can't really. But um, other than that, I love that. I think the app's great. It's cool. It keeps you kind of also with like the betting and stuff. It keeps you kind of honest where you know where you're really fucking up. If you're making mistakes, you're like, oh, I'm not. I did well picking the winners this weekend.
Uh huh.
That's why I have to maybe do more parlays of that where I kind of get greedy and I'll pick like too many method wins where the I might think the guy's gonna win by knockout, but like we saw with what was that one recently we got burnt on where it happens a lot, which is like obviously that's what makes MMA so cool. Like the guy gets hurt on the feet and the guy goes straight and grabs the neck and takes a submission. And you thought he was gonna Ryan Spann. Remember we thought he was
Yeah,
gonna
Ryan
like oh
Spann.
he's
Yeah.
gonna and yeah he looked like he got his range early. He was gonna light him up. It's gonna be a knockout win for sure. And then he hurts him and then takes a neck and takes his favorite submission. You're like, God damn it. So
Yep.
that's what makes it fun. But I gotta, maybe I gotta learn how to take it for the win more often as opposed to the methods.
Yeah, we'll
Oh,
definitely.
these are the things. Vegas, Jim.
Yeah,
Vegas.
I was gonna say we'll get more into that during Vegas, but we got one more fight on the main card to talk about: Daniel Rodriguez and Alex Morono. Um, Great fight. Very. I thought it was. I thought it was really close. I think Daniel Rodriguez won absolutely. There was no robbery or anything, but Alex Morono, like, the heart, man. He's a fighter, dude. Like I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
I know his record isn't great, or at least in the last couple fights, but I like him. I think he's a good fighter. I like watching him.
No, he really is. It was a very competitive back and forth fight. Really didn't know who was going to. Didn't seem like either one was going to take it like 100%. It just seemed like it was always going to be kind of like a pick 'em fight the whole way through, and that makes for more. It makes it sound like a bad thing, but it makes it's more of a just for competitive, just a good competitive fight.
Yeah,
It was fun to watch.
and
Plus Rodriguez
unfortunately,
just looks tough to deal with,
yeah, he is. I
you
was
know.
just gonna say, unfortunately, he's lost pretty much all of his last. I don't know. They might cut him after that.
They both they both kind of needed that one. They both have had rough stretches, I believe.
Yeah, his
Um,
last win was in July of 2022. He lost
this is Moroni you're talking?
Morono. Yeah.
Okay.
He lost to These are all great fighters, by the way. Tim Means,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Joaquin Buckley. Did he lose to McGee? It
He
doesn't tell
beat
me here.
Court McGee.
Okay, so he beat. Sorry, so he did win this year earlier against Court McGee. He lost to Nico Price and now Daniel Rodriguez. They're all great fighters.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a tough. He's on a tough path downhill right now, unfortunately. But like I said, I enjoyed watching him. I think he's got a lot of heart. He's actually pretty good too. He's just been fighting some killers. It's
He's
hard.
at a good camp too. Good coaches. Like he's just it's one of those things. It's not so much you'll watch it. It's one of those things that it'll come off as disrespectful, but it's really not. It's just he might just be one of the tough guys in the division that never quite get anywhere near a title, but they're just always you're just every time you hear him, you always want to watch him fight because you always just know what to expect.
Yeah.
And he's a tough out for anyone, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate into like I know he's kind of towards I don't want to say the end, but he is. You figure like the reality of it is like your mid 30s is old because it's not because of you and what you can do. It's because of what's coming up on the heels. Like just every single year, you figure how much better all these 18-year-olds, all these 19-year-olds, 20, 21, 20, 23.
It's what
It's
everyone else can do.
the young man's game. Yet no disrespect to you as a 33, 34, 35. The window is it gets tougher and tougher, especially at those smaller weight classes
Yeah.
where you just got to remember what it was like when you were 25, you know, and you couple that with someone who has a strong belief and discipline and they're putting all the right that coupled with being just a 25-year-old, it's just it's invaluable, you know,
Yeah, for
like, you know, what
sure.
it was like, Jim. Remember what it was like when you were 25 doing backflips and shit? Remember,
Barely.
Jim?
Barely.
Barely. Like a lot apart from that, but I remember it vaguely.
A couple more of these
You do a
lattes,
hell
I
of a
won't remember
backflip.
anything.
Yeah. That's a
That's what I'm
good thing
going for.
sometimes.
No, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, and we say this all the time that the talent coming up nowadays in UFC and it's just insane. It's
Yeah,
way different than it's ever been, and it's only gonna get harder. It's only gonna get harder for these older guys, and it's only gonna get better for the fans. And like the divisions are stacked. Like how many times have we read out the top 15 and we're like, wow,
yeah,
this
it,
is the top
yeah.
15 in one division. It's crazy. Yeah.
It
But
truly is. Yep,
so
great time to be a fan.
I didn't watch the prelims. But you want to talk about a couple that stuck out in your mind?
Let's see. So definitely the top fight of the prelims. Ramazan Tamirov. He looked great against a UFC vet. That's one I would definitely have you watch. Pat Sabatini. He looked awesome because he's so good. He seems like he's really tough to deal with on the ground. Like that's one of his definitely his strengths.
Okay.
And it was a good win against a guy who's pretty well rounded in his own right, right? Jonathan Pierce, he's been around a bit.
Yep.
Those two for sure. I like Themba Gorimbo a lot. He he had a good win against another, Nico Price is just that he's fought so many different names. Just a not not super comparable, but he's kind of like Kevin Holland, where he's just kind of taking all these fights with all these guys.
Yeah, I like that.
And you look at his career and you're like, oh, he's fought these guys, these names. You see Nico Price, he even fought Cowboy back then, and he's had, he's been in there with all types of names.
Robbie
Uh,
Lawler.
yeah, I mean, oh man, when you
He
think of
fought
Matt Brown, I believe too, that was another name. He's just the fact that you're fighting these guys, let alone,
Michael Pereira, Cerrone, Vicente Luque,
oh yeah, Luke's a beast.
Jeff Neal,
Um,
Tim Means, um, Randy Brown.
damn, a lot of names, still names that are in the UFC and have been. Um, okay, yeah, no, so Themba Gorimbo, like I was saying, and then Junior Tafa, that was a big win because the dude's supposed to fight at 205. He takes these heavyweight fights and they're tough fights, man. That was a tough, like, you're just watching the punishment the two are putting on each other. He's like, Jesus, man. Like, that's one you want to watch because just these heavyweights. You'll know what I mean when you watch that one.
Yeah.
That was a hard hitting fight to say the least. Um, Julia Pilastri, she looked good. I did like that fight, but I like Corey Haddon a lot too. His boxing is good. Clayton Carpenter, that was probably the other name I would point out. I think he could be someone that you'd be talking about at flyweight coming up.
Yeah, he got
Uh,
performance of the night.
yeah, he just looks like he's just one of those names where, um, let's see, where is he as far as his age? He's at a good age, man. He's 8-0, but he's only 28, so he's going to peak at the next few years might be real interesting for him.
Huh.
Kind of curious to see I think he could be very good in the ground. So as long as everything else progresses even more and more, as good as it may be, always room for improvement in that dude. So I would say those names probably.
Cool.
Number
Yeah.
one probably being Ramazan Tamirov, and that dude plus his record. Another one, just like we were talking about, 18-2-1. Who's
Huh.
a favorite going in? That would be. Oh, I wonder. Okay, so his team is Miradov, Legion Gym. It's probably that middleweight dude that used to fight. I think it was middleweight in UFC. You know what I'm talking about, Miradov?
Miradov? I'd have to see him.
Yeah.
I'd have to see his face.
If you look up Miradov UFC, I'm curious,
Miradov UFC. I don't know if I'm spelling that right.
and it's
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mura. That dude was a UFC vet, so maybe it's his fight gym because
Oh, okay.
they're both out of Uzbekistan, I think. So, um, he's someone I'd probably watch that one overall. Um, he's definitely a name you're going to see going forward, Jim.
Okay, sweet.
But plus we got Contender Series tomorrow. I think it's the last night
Yeah, that's exciting.
of the season. Yep, for sure.
Let's move on. Next week, we got a couple cards. The first thing I want to talk about is the Battle of the Giants. Francis
Yes.
Ngannou is fighting his first PFL fight against Ferreira, which should be pretty good. What do you think? I mean, we'll just go. Well, let me just name some of the fights. Cyborg's fighting Pacheco. That's going to be awesome. That
Oh
fight's
yeah.
going to be awesome. We also have Eblin, who's 15-0 against is this what's his name's brother? Leon's brother? Edwards? Leon Edwards' brother?
It might be. I'm honestly not sure.
Hold on, view bio.
Was it Fabian? Fabian Edwards?
Yep, Fabian Edwards. He's 13-3. Eblin, is it Johnny Eblin? Is that his name?
Yep.
I've heard a lot of good things about. I think I've seen him fight once, and he impressed the shit out of me. So that's going to be a great fight. And then, yeah, I don't know most of the other guys on here. I don't think. because I don't watch PFL a whole lot. But just those three fights right there is probably worth watching.
And then I
Um,
believe the first fight of the main card is that dude I was telling you about that I think is like he, he's definitely UFC caliber. AJ McKee. I don't know who he's fighting though, but he was a Bellator guy that when obviously Bellator PFL they kind of folded into each other, right?
yeah,
Um, but AJ McKee he's so good. That's a guy I wish the UFC would get.
he's fighting a guy named Paul Hughes from Sydney,
Seems like a
Australia. He's 12-1. Oh, he's from Australia, but he's fighting out of Northern Ireland.
okay,
But 12 and
but
1, he's got to be pretty good.
he has to be good. But I'm telling you that what's AJ McKee's record? He might only have
22
one.
and 1.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so talented. So that's a fight I'd that's a good card. Like you said, those first, I'd agree, the co-main and the main, definitely the worth worth it alone. But there's some other names in that make that card really great. That's a pay-per-view. What are they asking for
Yeah,
that?
I
To
don't
get that,
know. By
is it
how to
$50 maybe?
watch. Let me see. How to watch. ESPN Plus.
Just tell us. You know.
Doesn't even say.
Let's see. I'm gonna check on my phone real quick because I know. Oh, excuse me. Jesus Christmas, Jim. Burped. Oh, 49.99. It is $50. Let's get that, dude.
How
I'll
did
buy
you
it right now.
know? How did you
You
know?
want me to buy it live? Can we buy it live right now?
um, but yeah, that's gonna be
Saturday,
good.
October
That's gonna be
19th,
good.
4 p.m. I'm gonna buy it. So
All right, there you go.
I'm gonna buy it right now. Here we go. Boom. And then see if I can. Will it let me? Yeah, you gonna let me? Yeah, of course you're gonna let me. Here we go.
Yeah, of
I'll
course
let
you're
you
gonna
know
take my
once I'm ready.
money.
Yes. Take it, yeah, hyena. Oh shit, it didn't take it.
But yeah, we got that card, and then we also have the UFC Fight Night. We have Anthony Hernandez against Michael Pereira.
Boom, bought it.
Michael
Sorry.
Pereira is fun to watch too, or Michelle Pereira. Sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Um,
that's a fun fight, dude. That's definitely one to look forward to.
and then we got
Definitely a big style clash.
yeah, Rob Font and Kyler Phillips. That should be good. Number 10 and number 12. Jake Hadley, remember him from England? He's
Yeah, I
pretty
like him a
good.
lot.
Charles
Around
Johnson, he's good. Darren Elkins and Daniel
the
Pineda.
damage, wears it on his chest, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, he's fighting Daniel Pineda. That's going to be good.
That's a good fight.
Mateus
Yeah.
Nicolau, number 7 against a number 14. I don't know this guy. Do you know him? Kazakhstan? Almabayev?
Yes, I think I've seen him once. Almabayev, yeah, I believe so. Let me pull up the card now.
That's a big jump for him if he can win.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, that dude's something else. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that dude will win as long as he doesn't get caught by Nicolau, because I know Nicolau likes to. He's Brazilian, his jiu-jitsu is sharp, but I know he has good. I know he's had a couple like losses via KO, but he's got heavy hands too. So I would think Almabayev's gonna win. That's a Almabayev by decision. That's my special Jim for the weekend, Jim. That's it.
there you go. You
You
heard it
like
here
it?
first.
You heard it here first, dude, probably. Uh, and so I'm gonna parlay Almabayev decision, and Darren Elkins is gonna take some damage. I'm gonna parlay those two together.
Okay, there you
Could be a fun fight,
go.
those two with Pineda, because Daniel Pineda, they both like to throw down, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
What else you got, Jim?
That's really it. I mean, I just wanted to kind of preview those two cards because they're great for next week. But we'll do a follow up episode after watching both of those. Um, and then the following week, we got Vegas. So I'm going to
Uh,
bring all my shit to Vegas, and we're gonna do some live. Well, not live, but live in person podcast episodes.
It'd be cool.
It'll be fun.
It's fun to do it. Like when we did 300 in Denver together, that was fun.
Yeah.
It'll be more of an experience, you know.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fun.
Hell yeah. No, looking forward to it, man.
But yeah, we can wrap it up there. We did an hour and 5 minutes, so and we got some games on to watch, and I think I'm going to the gym, so we'll see.
Oh, nice. I'll watch a little bit more, but
yeah. Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, let's wrap it up there. Dan, thank you as always for doing these with me. It's always fun.
Absolutely, man. No, I appreciate it.
And yeah, we'll be back next week with another episode. And go Cleveland, because the Yankees can suck it.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. The only New York I want to see in the World goddamn series, the New York Mets. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I like what's going on with them. I'll root for them.
All right, well, until next week. Oh yeah, if you guys want to follow us on Instagram or YouTube or Spotify, you can find us at Pinnacle_Combat. If you like these episodes by any chance, share and subscribe, please. We appreciate anyone who does listen. It's fun for us, and we hope it's fun for you. So, yeah, we'll see you next week. Peace.